Okay, Saxon 4 Math students, we are ready for lesson 93, estimating multiplication and division answers. And this is very helpful uh, in making sure that your exact answers are reasonable. And that's something that you should always do. With our big testing coming up, you should always ask yourself when you've made your final choice, does this make sense? Is it reasonable? So this skill will help you with that. So let's look at some examples. Luke multiplied 43 by 29 and got 203. Is Luke's answer reasonable? So if we use estimation to see if this is reasonable, we would round 43 off to 40 and 29 off to 30. Okay, now 40 times 30 is very easy to do mentally. We would do the 4 times 3, and that's 12, and then the 0 that's in the 40 and the 0 that's in the 30, we would take those two zeros and tack them on to the end. So our estimate would be 1,200, right? And he got 203. Is his answer reasonable? It certainly is not. So he should go back and check his work. And you can do the same thing. Even if you're doing an exact answer, you can also estimate it very quickly mentally and check to see if it's reasonable. Okay, let's look at example 2. Let's estimate the product of 38 and 53 and then find the exact answer. So let's go ahead and do the estimation mentally, okay? Let's round off 38 to 40, and let's round off 53 to 50. So now we're looking at 40 times 50. Okay, so let's look at the 4 times 5 part. That's 20. Then tack on 2 more zeros. So our estimate is 2,000. So now let's find the exact answer. 38 times 53. Okay, I'm going to do it the traditional way real quickly, and then I will do 38 times 53 using our new lattice method. I'm going to go ahead and set this up and divide my sections correctly. So I'm ready to go. Okay, here we go. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Now when I'm finished with a step, I like to mark out the things that had to do with that step. So I like to mark out the number I was working with and any carrying that I had to do. Okay, now remember our placeholder, because we know we just did 38 times 3. That's 114. Now we're going to do 50 times 38. So we're using the 0. We're popping it down here as a placeholder. So 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 4, 19. Now we have to add these two steps. Okay, 4 plus 0 is 4. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 and 9 is 10, and 1 and 1 is 2. So here's our exact answer. Let's double check. Let's do it this way also. Let's start with 3 times 5, and that would be, let me change colors here for this one, 15. See how we did that? The 3 and the 5 meet here, 15. Now let's do the 8 times 5, and that's 40. Now let's do the 3 times 3, and that's 9. We would have to write that 0, 9. And 3 times 8 is 24. Now we have to kind of look diagonally. 4 plus nothing is 4. 0 plus 2 plus 9 is 11. Still had to carry on to the next step. 4 and 1 is 5, and 5 and 5 is 10, and 1 and 1 is 2. So 2014, and if you remember when we rounded, we did 40 times 50, and the 4 times 5 part was 20, and then we tacked on 2 more zeros. So the exact answer is 2014. Our estimate was 2,000, so that tells us yes, our exact answer does make sense. Let's look at example 3. Estimate the quotient of 1,845 divided by 6. Okay, when they say quotient, I know that's the answer to a division problem. So let's look at this number right here, 1,845. Immediately I notice that the first two digits right here, 18, that's divisible by 6. So since I get to estimate, I want to round this off to something that would work with the 6 very easily. And if I round this off to 1,800, it's going to be easier to work with mentally than if I rounded it off to 2,000. Do you see that? So if we round this off to 1,800 divided by 6, here's what it would look like. Divided by 6. And we're in business. Still like to use my little shade here. How many groups of 6 can you get out of 1? You can't. So we're going to move on and look at both of these digits now. How many groups of 6 could you get out of 18? 3, because 3 times 6 is 18. Now if we subtract and bring down, that's the next step. How many groups of 6 can I get out of 0? 0. I have to put that there, okay? Because 0 times 6 is 0. Again, I have to subtract. There's another 0 to bring down. I'm still not finished. I don't get to stop right here. I have to keep going. I have to say, how many groups of 6 could I get out of 0? 0. Because 0 times 6 is 0. I know I'm finished when there's nothing left to bring down. Okay, I make it to the bring down step, but nothing is left. Don't stop too soon. Okay, so our final estimate here is 300. Let's see if they agree. They certainly do. That problem would be harder to work if I had rounded this 1,845 off to 2,000, because if you look at the first two digits, it would be 20, and which is not divisible by 6 evenly. Okay, here's some lesson practice. I would love for you to get some scrap paper and work each of these. It says you have to estimate each product or quotient first. And if you can do that mentally and then write down your estimate, then find each exact answer, that would be awesome. So let's look. 58 times 23. Let's do the estimate first. What would you round 58 off to? 60. What would you round 23 off to? 20. So let's do a mental estimate here of 60 times 20. We're looking at the 6 times 2 is 12 and tack on 2 zeros. So go ahead and write down your estimate for this one as 1,200. And then hit pause and work this problem either using the traditional method or the lattice method. And then when you're ready to check yourself, hit play again. So I'll give you just a few seconds. So here was your estimate, 1,200, and the exact answer, 1,334. So if something went wrong and you did not get this for your exact answer, what I'd like for you to do is just circle it, and I'll meet with you after class to try to work out what went wrong. Okay, let's move on. Let's try another one. 49 times 51. Okay, think about what you could round those off to. And write down your estimate. And this time I'm not going to show you what that is. Just go ahead and write that down. And then hit pause and find out the exact answer using your favorite method. And when you're ready to check, hit play. Okay, the estimate, it would have been 50 times 50. So the 5 times 5 is 25. Tack on those 2 zeros. The exact answer is 2,499. Okay, they should be in pretty close vicinity of each other, your estimate and your exact answer. Okay, now let's look at C. By the way, if you missed this one, just circle it. I'll meet with you to figure out the error in your math, okay? Now let's look at 61 times 38. Think about what you will multiply to get your estimate, and go ahead and write that down. Now use your favorite method and find the exact answer. Hit pause while you do that. Okay, did you multiply 60 times 40 for your mental part? 6 times 4 is 24. Tack on the 2 zeros. Did you get 2,318 for your exact answer? If you didn't, just circle it. I'll meet with you after class. Now let's look at D. This one is the division problem. Remember, we get to estimate first, so we've got 1,845, again, that same number, this time divided by 9. So if I look at the 18, I know that 9 will go into 18 evenly. So what should you round this off to? Should you round it up to 2,000 or should you round it to something else that's easier to work with? Should round it to 1,800 or 1,800. So write this down first, divided by 9, and hit pause while you work it out. Okay, so now you have your estimate. So go ahead and write down your estimate. Now write down 1,845 divided by 9 and go through the whole set of steps until nothing is left to bring down, and then check your answer. So hit pause while you work it. Okay, so your estimate should have been 200, and your exact answer should have worked out to 205. And again, if you missed that, just circle it. I'll meet with you to figure out the error in your math. Now let's go back. You may still need to check 92 work. Okay, written practice. So hit pause as you check 1 through 8. Hit pause as you check 9 through 12. Hit pause as you check 13 through 29. And hit pause as you check 30, and the early finisher if you tried that. Well, wouldn't help you. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's take a look at some mental math. We're practicing finding half of numbers, but we have to do some mental math first. So let's do 10 times 18. So we're thinking 1 times 18, tack on a 0. That's 180. Now half of that, 90. Okay, actually what you're doing here, since this is 1, since 10 times 44, you think 1 times 44, tack on 1 0 and you've got it. Now think half of that, 220. Okay, again, you've got 1 extra 0. Let's tack it on here. But now think half of this, and your zeros will stay the same. 1,300. How many minutes are in 1 1/2 hours? Well, 1 hour, that would be 60 minutes. And how many minutes is half an hour? Well, that's 30. So add those two together, and you've got 90 minutes. All right, it's gallon house time. How many quarts is 3 gallons? So I want you to imagine the big gallon house. And you know your quarts, those were the windows. How many quarts were in a gallon? 4, right? You can also look at quart. It's almost like quarter. So that tells you there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So now think 4 times 3. That'd be 12 quarts. At F, estimation. About how many feet is 1,989 yards? About gives us permission to estimate, okay? Now they've given this to us in yards, and I know that each yard has 3 feet. So I'm going to round this number off to about 2,000. So how many feet are in a yard? So you would do 3 times 2,000, and our estimate would be 6,000 feet. Okay, 3 squared really means 3 times 3, okay? Got that? 9 plus 1, 10 times 5, 50 minus 1, 49. And what is the square root of 49? 7. Okay, Roman numerals. Write 9 in Roman numerals. So let's talk a little bit about Roman numerals. We have in the past, but not a whole lot. Okay, this is the Roman numeral 1. Sometimes you'll see it written like this. This is the Roman numeral 2. This is the Roman numeral 3. However, 4 is a little different. I'm going to show you 4. I'm going to show you 5. and I'm going to show you 6. Okay, so take a look at this. This is 5. Now, a mark before the 5 takes away 1 from it. Okay, so this equals 4. This is 5. One mark after the V, after 5, means plus 1. So this is 6. But the question was, write 9 in Roman numerals. Okay, I'm going to keep going. 7, you take 5 and add 2 more marks to it. And here's 8. But things start getting a little bit different when you get up to this level, okay? I'm going to show you that this is 10. Can you figure out what 9 should be? And it's not the 5 with 4 marks. It's not that. Ta-da! It's the mark for 10 with 1 before it, so that means minus 1. Okay? Now let's look at problem solving. In this Venn diagram, the circle on the left stands for animals with the ability to fly. The R in the overlapping portion of the circle stands for robins, which are birds that can fly. The O stands for ostriches, which are birds that cannot fly. The B stands for bats, which can fly, but are not birds. The W stands for whales, which are not birds and cannot fly. They're totally outside of both of those circles. It says copy the Venn diagram on your paper, but we're going to do it right up here and place an abbreviation for a penguin, an eagle, a goldfish, and a cat. Okay, let's start with the most obvious, okay? Or two of the most obvious here. The cat. It's not a bird, can't fly. It's going to go on the outside. What about the goldfish? Can't fly. It's not a bird. So the goldfish and the cat go on the outside. Now, let's take a look at the penguin. It's a bird. It does have feathers, but can it fly? No, it can't, so it's going to go in this section, as you can see right here for penguins. And what about the eagle? Can it fly? Is it a bird? Yes, so it goes in the overlapping section that fits both of those. And we're finished.